Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I am Aarthi Ravichandran. First and foremost, I would like to thank Praapthi Events and Devarajan uncle for this wonderful opportunity to perform in the Tatparya Sangeetham series. For my rendition, today I have taken the focus of Koteeshwara Iyer's 72 Melakartha Tamil Krithis on Lord Muruga, the magnum opus Kanda Ganamutham. These compositions are especially dear to me as I have learnt these directly from the archives of S. Ragam sir, who is not only my direct Mahaguru, but he has imbibed these Krithis from the composer's relative himself. As his life's work, he has recorded the entire Padantaram of the 72 Melakartha Krithis with Manodharma explorations. Koteeshwara Iyer's compositions have always been very special to me, as he used his Ishtadevam Lord Muruga to explore highly philosophical angles to connect critical and intellectual thought to religion, to the common man. And I feel like this is highly relevant in our world today, where we are constantly in need of direction, perspective, strength, and most importantly, faith. Koteeshwara Iyer begins the Kanda Ganamutham with an invocation of Lord Vinayaka in the Krithi Varana Mukhava in Hamsadwani. When I had learned this Krithi from my Guru Shri Veenapathasarathi Mama as a child, I did not know of the Kanda Ganamutham, let alone its sprawling complexity and the sheer beauty of the compositions, and had learned it as any other typical invocatory Krithi on Lord Vinayaka in Hamsadwani. It wasn't until recently, after many years, after learning the composition with much more perspective and experience, that I revisited the Krithi and I was able to contextualize its importance. This perspective and context has instilled this much needed reverence in me of the Krithi and what it signifies, which I believe is essential to render the Krithi with a full understanding of what it really represents. I will also be prefacing some of the compositions for today's rendition with Virittams and Venbas written by Koteeshwara Iyer himself, referencing the Kanda Ganamutham, where he invokes the blessings of gods, goddesses and great Mahamunis to bless his contribution to Lord Muruga. Varana Mukhava Varana Mukhava Tunai Varuva Varana Mukhava Tunai Varuva Arulvai Dayavai 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 Varana Mukhava Arana Porule Arana Porule Arana Porulana Kanda Ganamutham Karunamudha Udaviye Nataba Mukhava Arana Porulana Kanda Ganamutham Karunamudha Udaviye Nataba Mukhava Tunai Varuva Arulvai Dayavai Varana Mukhava இன்னிசை இயல் இலக்கியம் அறிவேதும் இன்றே இசையியல் இலக்கியமாரியம் தமிழ் அறிவேதும் இன்றே கண்ணாலன்னை கந்தகானாமுதனன் நூலை கண்ணாலன்னை கந்தகானாமுதன நூலை உன்னும் கை குஞ்சரதாசன் நான் உணருள் கொண்டே பண்ண துணிந்தே ஜரதாசன் நான் உன்னருள் கொண்டே பண்ண துணிந்தேன் முன்னவனே நீ முயன்றால் முடியாததொன்றில்லை ஆதலால் அதிவேகமெதாதவே வாரண முகவா உன்னும் கவி குஞ்சரதாசன் நான் உன்னருள் கொண்டே பண்ண துணிந்தேன் முன்னவனே நீ முயன்றால் முடியாததொன்றில்லை ஆதலால் அதிவேகமெதாகவே வாரண முகவாருடே வருவாய் அருள்வாய் தயவாய் வாரண முகவா As someone who has always been intrigued by the unconventional, Vivadhi Ragams have been a constant source of curiosity in me. In our system of 72 Melakarthas, it is interesting to note that Vivadhi or the seemingly dissonant ragas make up the majority, 40 out of 72. Even though Vivadhis make up the majority of our system, these ragas have traditionally been handled with much hesitation and ambivalence due to the asymmetry of the scale and the spacing between the notes that is not typically considered aesthetic. Koteeshwara Iyer is also a pioneer, as not only is he the first composer to appreciate the value of all 72 Melakarthas in his compositions, but he has also used the undoubted melody and striking beauty of these ragas to debunk the opinion that singing these Vivadhi ragas would result in dosha and are inauspicious ragas. It was believed largely in the early 20th century that these ragas must only exist within the realm of scientific interpretation of the scales and must be removed from being displayed in performance and rendition platforms. This could also be why we do not have a distinguished idea for the scope of majority of these ragas, as we do not have a plethora of compositions to learn and understand these ragas like other Rakti ragas such as Todi, Shankarabharanam or Kalyani. And neither have there been detailed Manodharma expositions for most. Stumbling upon the treasure trove of S. Rajam Sir's archives was a revelation for me, because not only was this an opportunity to directly connect with my Guru Sishya lineage and directly experience the greatness of my Gurus and the knowledge I have been so fortunate to imbibe, Rajam Sir has also explored Raga Alapana, Neraval and Swarams for most ragas in the Kanda Ganamutham series with much ease and expertise, irrespective of whether they are Vivadhi or not. Hence, Koteeshwara Iyer's lyrical and raga genius and S. Rajam Sir's pioneering exploration and magnanimous distribution of such priceless knowledge has not only rendered it possible but has also given us a highly nuanced aesthetic for each raga. This elicits an entirely new bhava and melody that we have known all along but never had the tools to apply. As a tribute to such mastery and contribution and to my own Guru Sishya lineage, I have strived to retain the authenticity of his renditions and corresponding notations. From the Kanda Ganamutham itself, apart from Varana Mukhava, I have selected 4 Krithis of contrasting flavors to bring you a small yet fulfilling capsule of the spectrum of Koteeshwara Iyer's works. First, I will be presenting Kanakang Gakka in the Ragam Kanakangi. This is the very first Melakartha and belongs to the Indu Chakra. This Ragam is also known as the Shuddha scale, as all the Swarasthanas in this Ragam are the Shuddha variation. The asymmetric distribution of notes in this Ragam gives a very haunting melody, and because it is extremely difficult to decipher as well, because the notes are either extremely close to each other or extremely distant from one another. My appreciation and awe of this Ragam only increased after listening and learning to this Kriti, and S. Rajam sir's Neraval as for such a complex raga has been so beautifully constructed in a composition by Koteeshwara Iyer. His lyrical and scholarly prowess is immediately seen here when he uses the word Kanakanga as not only a raga mudra but also to describe the golden form, ethereal golden form of Lord Muruga. As an additional note, in all Kritis of this series, Koteeshwara Iyer has not only applied raga mudras for all these Kritis, he has applied the meaning of this raga mudra into the Sahityam to emphasize and add the meaning. So for example, in Kanakangi, we will be seeing Kanakanga describing the form of Lord Muruga. In Kaguha, which is the Kriti that will be following this, we are going to see Shalave Panchala Koshala, talking about the distant lands that Koteeshwara Iyer wants to spread the glory of Lord Muruga to. Then we see Amboroha Padame, where we see Ma Kali Madura Ma NataBhairavi. So he has a very intellectual, very intelligent way of using the Raga Mudra here. And finally, we will also see in Paramananda, Himbaroda Vishwambari. So he wants to spread the joy of this around the world, which is a similar meaning to what he talks about in Kaguha. So, Kanakanga in Ragam Kanakangi. அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய அடியேனுய்ய 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 அடியேனுய்ய அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய 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 அடியேனுய்ய அடியேனுய்ய அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய அடியேனுய்ய அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய அடியேனுய்ய அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய அமித சத்புத்தி அபரிமித பக்தி அடியேனுய்ய அருள்வாய் நீ துய்ய அமித சத்புத்தி அபரிமித பக்தியோடு நின்ன ஏத்தியோடு நின்ன ஏத்தி உயர் குமர கீர்த்தியோடு நின்ன ஏத்தி உயர் குமர கீர்த்தியுற கவி குஞ்சரையோடு நின்ன ஏத்தி உயர் குமர கீர்த்தி உற கவி குஞ்சரதாசனே கனகாங்க சுகபுவதினம் காமுக இரமான் மருக கனகாங்க Secondly, I will be presenting Ka Guha Shanmuga. This Kriti is set to Ragam Kosalam, the 71st Melakartha in the Aditya Chakra. This Ragam is extremely fascinating to me as it only differs from Kalyani by the Rishabham, which not only completely changes the handling of the raga but also its bhava. This comparison to Kalyani and its one dissimilarity, resulting in an entirely new Ragam, was an important lesson to me. That the structure, the scope and the true essence of the raga is much beyond its scale. It is only the treatment of a raga as unique and not as comparison to another known or familiar raga that will truly unshackle our understanding or the lack of it. That most ragas that we know of theoretically but are not equipped to approach with the right tools or the right perspective. A stark contrast from Kanakanga in the Sahityam, I felt, where in Kanakanga we see a much more vivid physical description of Lord Muruga, whereas By the time we come to Ka Guha, which is Kosalam, the 71st Melakartha, we're approaching the end of the series, which is the penultimate Ragam right before Rasika Priya. We see that we see evidence of the sadhana of the composer, where he takes on a much more morose, deep, philosophical, subdued tone, where he goes from the vivid, vibrant expressions and descriptions of Lord Muruga to something a lot more introspective, of begging, of surrendering to Lord Muruga, asking for more time, wanting to spread his glory around the world. So we see this complete shift in tone that is established by the first Kanakanga and Kosalam. We can see the progression of his state of mind. So this singing Kaguha, presenting Kaguha to you right after Kanakangaka, this was the reason why I chose this Kriti right after Kanakangaka. And I hope to present this stark contrast in the state of mind and his sadhana, and through the progression of this series, by presenting the first Kriti and the 71st Kriti. So the beginning of the series and the end of the series. And another additional point would be that Koteeshwara Iyer's uncertainty about life and the brevity of life, and surrendering to Lord Muruga, asking for more time. Kalan anugamale kaliyal naliyamale, he says. This is not very unlike the uncertainty of life that we are facing today. And we try to hold on to any shred of stability that we can find. And to Koteeshwara Iyer, this was the bhakti and the faith that he had in Lord Muruga. So maybe there is a lesson that we can take from here, that our faith, if we place faith in the universe, in God, in the higher power, we will never go wrong, because it will give us all the stability that we require to tread through absolutely uncertain times that we are facing today. ಶಾಲವೇ ಪಾಂಚಾಲ ಕೋಶದಿ ನಾಟಕ ನೋಡ್ನೆ ಶಾಲವೇ ಪಾಂಚಾಲ ಕೋಶದಿ ನಾಟಕ ನೋಡ್ನೆ மில்ஷீலமே சொல்லியே இன்னும் பல செந்தமிழ் இசை பாடவே ஷாலவே பாஞ்சால கோஷதி நாடக நூலே நில்ஷீலமே சொல்லியே இன்னும் பல செந்தமிழ் இசை பாடவே அணுகாமலே கலியா நலியாமலே கல அணுகாமலே கலியா நலியாமலே கல அணுகாமலே கலியா நலியாமலே எக்காலும் கவி குல்காரதாசனை கண்ணின் இமை போலே எக்காலும் கவி குல்காரதாசனை கண்ணின் இமை போலே எக்காலும் கவி குல்காரதாசனை கண்ணின் இமை போலே காகுஹ ஷல்மோகனி The first two Krithis in ragas Kanakangi and Kosalam were of the vivadhi category. The Krithi I will be presenting next is Amboroha Padami in Ragam NataBhairavi, a non-vivadhi ragam, the 20th Melakartha. This ragam was very interesting and fascinating for me to learn. This was the very first Krithi I also learned in the Ragam NataBhairavi. As the Janya ragas of NataBhairavi such as Bhairavi, NataBhairavi, Jonpuri, Hindolam and Saramati are extremely popular, but they only carry distant remnants of NataBhairavi. So because these ragams are so well composed on, they are ancient, they are vastly rendered, they have gone on to develop distinct identities of their own. NataBhairavi, although being the Melakartha ragam, the parent ragam, is scarcely composed on, and we don't have a lot of detailed renditions and examples of the ragas like we do of the other janyas that I mentioned earlier. Exploring NataBhairavi through this Krithi really helped me understand the roots of these janya ragas, and it led me on an extremely meaningful journey on how these complex janya ragas such as Bhairavi could have been derived from NataBhairavi and not reflect its Melakartha roots anyhow. But listening to it with a deeper look, with a deeper insight is what would reveal its true roots. Understanding the essence of this raga through Amboroha Padame and Rajamsa's rendition and Manodharma helped me see the defining characteristics that made the vice versa also true. The Melakartha ragam was able to stand out on its own without reflecting any of the characteristics of its more well-known children, the Janya ragas, Amboroha Padame and NataBhairavi ragam. பதஞ்சலி புலி முனியும் துதி பதஞ்சலி புலி முனியும் மாமுனி கும்ப மாமுனி கும்ப மாமுனி சம்பந்த நக்கீரர் கும்ப மாமுனி சம்பந்தர் நக்கீரர் கூர 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 கூரர் கூரருணையங்கிரி கூரருணையங்கிரி முதலாம் கூரருணையங்கிரி முதலாம் இன்பனல் அடியார் அனைவரும் கல்தல் 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 கல்தன் கந்தன் இசைதற்குரிய கல்தன் இசைதற்குரிய கல்தல் 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 கந்தன் இசைதற்குரிய காப்பினரே இசைதற்குரிய காப்பினரே இசைதற்குரிய காப்பினரே அம்போருஹ பாதமே அம்போருஹ பாதமே நம்பினே பொன்னோ போருஹ 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 பாதமே பாதமே शंभो शंकर परमेश गुरु गुह में gama pamagari nidani sari gama dani da magari pamagari gama pa dani da sani dari nidani sari gama gari gari ni sa nidani sani da magama pa dani sani da bama boru varame pamagari sani dani sari gama pamagari nidani sari gama dani da magari pamagari gama pa dani da sani dari nidani sari gama gari gari ni sa nidani sani da magama pa dani sani da bama boru vadame nambine nilpono boru vadame nambine माकाळि मधुरमा नटभैरवी अम्ब माकाळि मधुरमा नटभैरवी तरुकुमार शतकोटि मदना माकाळि मधुरमा नटभैरवी तरुकुमार शतकोटि मदना देह शृंगार श्रीकर gama pamagari nidani sari gama dani da magari pamagari gama pa dani da sani dari nidani sari gama gari gari ni sa nidani sani da magama pa dani sani da bama boru vadame pamagari sani hari sa gama pamagari nidani sari gama dani da magari pamagari gama pa dani da sani dari nidani sari gama gari gari ni sa nidani sani da magama pa dani sani da bama boru vadame nambine nilpo no boru padame nambine The fifth and final Kriti I will be presenting for today is Paramananda in Ragam Vishwambari, the 54th Melakartha. Similar to Kosalam and its relationship with Kalyani, this Ragam is only dissimilar from Pantuvarali because of the Dhaivatam, and yet results in such a strikingly different Ragam, with an entirely unique flavor. Koteeshwara Iyer's pioneering thought is not only seen in his composition but also the handling of the ragas, is what I felt while I was learning this song from S. Rajam Sir's archives. Vishwambari is a great example of this because he presents the raga with long sancharas on the Dhaivata and the Nishada to establish the ragam, and not just as an allied ragam that is correlated with its other neighboring ragas such as Gamanashrama or Pantuvarali that are more commonly known to us. In this Kriti, Koteeshwara Iyer seeks the blessings of Lord Muruga to attain spiritual euphoria or the Paramanandam, to be able to compose such Kritis, to extol the greatness of the Lord, to spread around the world, or Vishwam, as he says in the Ragamudra, Imbarodu Vishwambari. So he wants to spread the greatness, spread the word about how great Lord Muruga is and what he can do for you if you place his faith in him through this Kriti. Paramananda, Ragam Vishwambari. Pavum Parama Rasapannum 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 Barada Mudal Yavum Pavum Parama Rasapannum Barada Mudal Yavum Isaiya Yenakku Darulvai Yenakku Isaiya Darulvai Mavujita 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 Jnanakara 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 Saminada Saminada Jnanakara Saminada Jnanakara Saminada Saminada Ninada Kanda Ganamutham Kanda Ganamutham Uganda Kanda Paramananda Bhakti Tandarul Kanda பக்தி தந்தருள் கந்த பிரபோ பரமா நந்தா பக்தி தந்தருள் கந்த பிரபோ பரமா நந்தா வரை மாதுகந்தா வரை மாதுகந்தா மைந்தனில் பதாரவில்த வரை மாது உகந்தா மைந்தனில் பதாரவில்த வரை மாது உகந்தா மைந்தனில் பதாரவில்த வரை மாது உகந்தா மைந்தனில் பதாரவில்த பரமா நந்தா பக்தி தந்தருள் கந்த பிரபோ பரமா நந்தா இன்பரோட விஸ்வம்பரி இன்பரோட விஸ்வம்பரி இன்பரோட விஸ்வம்பரி இன்பரோட விஸ்வம்பரி நரியும் பணி ஷரபம் பணி முருகா இன்பரோட விஸ்வம்பரி நரியும் பணி ஷரபம் பணி முருகா எனும் நண்பரோடு சேர்ந்ததாம் நெகிழ்ந்தோரோகவே நண்பரோடு சேர்ந்ததாம் நெகிழ்ந்தோரோகவே அன்பரோடு சேர்ந்ததாம் நெகிழ்ந்தோரோகவே அப்பனே கவி குல்ஜரதாசனின் நாரருள் வருக அப்பனே கவி குல்ஜரதாசனின் நாரருள் வருக அப்பனே கவி குல்ஜரதாசனின் நாரருள் வருக இசை பெருக பரமானந்தா அப்பனே கவி குல்ஜரதாசனின் நாரருள் வருக இசை பெருக பரமானந்தா பக்தி தந்தருள் கந்த பிரபோ பரமா நந்தா பக்தி பக்தி பரமானந்த பக்தி was given this opportunity to perform for Tatparya Sangeetham, I was immediately struck with the concept of Koteeshwara Iyer, because I have always been intrigued by Koteeshwara Iyer's approach to the 72 Melakarthas, or his absolute lyrical prowess, about how he has imbibed the raga mudras in, and his progression, his the state of mind that has progressed from the more vivid physical to a highly philosophical angle, and how he takes everybody who listens to this series on this greatly philosophical journey. So I had learned most of these Krithis that I presented today from S. Ragam sir's archives, and it was deeply profound for me to go back and view the recordings of my guru that I was not able to hear in my life, in real life. So going back and listening to these recordings was like reliving the past for me. It was like time travel, because I was able to live in a time and experience the research, the immense research, and all of putting together the notations and his greatness through his works. So, and his absolute generosity that he was able to, most of these works would be monetized in today's day and age, but he was able to put out these works, give notations, and the story goes that he distributed these notations and these lyrics for anywhere between 70 to 100 rupees back in the day. And even now, the book that I bought, the notations of S. Ragam sir's Koteeshwara Iyer compositions, the 130 compositions that Koteeshwara Iyer has composed, is 100 rupees even today. So S. Ragam sir's integrity just shone through this entire process for me, because no matter his physical existence in this world or not, his values are still being carried forward. And the very fact that Koteeshwara Iyer is the one who brought forward these vivadhi ragams to be sung and performed in main platforms, and even the fact that Tamil Krithis were considered as second tier compared to Telugu or Sanskrit Krithis. So Koteeshwara Iyer not only brought about the change in perspective of vivadhi ragams being inauspicious or being unesthetic, but he was also able to bring Tamil Krithis of a great scientific and scholarly contribution to the concert platform. So giving my tribute to this was immediately the first choice for Tatparya Sangeetham, because I had to do something. When S. Ragam sir is my Mahaguru, and when I have access to all of this knowledge, it definitely becomes my duty to present this and package this information to audience, and to make them understand the importance and the value of great people like Koteeshwara Iyer and S. Ragam, so that people take forward this legacy, people get interested in the knowledge we have right under our noses, but we don't make the most of. Most of us know that 72 Melakarthas do exist, but we do not know how to treat more than at least 30 of them. So the fact that Koteeshwara Iyer has given great immense scope for each of these ragams by composing fantastic Krithis, and S. Ragam sir has gone a step forward and given us Manodharma expositions for all of these Krithis, show that all of these ragams can also be mainstream, just like any of the Rakti ragas that we do perform. So realizing this and being a part of that artistic process and viewing S. Ragam sir's exploration through my eyes was very, very profound for me, because of my Guru Shishya lineage, as well as my interest in Vivadhi ragams. And as a child, I had always had the question, these ragams sound so haunting, so beautiful, why aren't they sung more? I would ask my gurus. Adellam apdidan, they would say. So I would obviously not take no for an answer. So I would go and do my research, and that's when I stumbled upon Koteeshwara Iyer, but I didn't know what to do more than that. Okay, I know about Koteeshwara Iyer, what next? Which is when I started learning under Dr. Vijayalakshmi Subramaniam, and she has done extensive work with her guru S. Ragam sir on Koteeshwara Iyer's Krithis. And I am deeply fortunate to be a part of that lineage and to have my thirst quenched, and is still being quenched. And I am deeply thankful to S. Ragam sir and Vijayalakshmi ma'am, and most of all Koteeshwara Iyer, for giving us this treasure. Thank you. And I would, to end, I would like to thank my violinist for today, Archita Giridhar, for the fantastic support. And of course, last but not least, Devarajan uncle, for giving me this wonderful opportunity and being such a wonderful support on the Mridangam today. Thank you. Namaste. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.